ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविता शाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं श्रीरामदूतं शिरसा नमामि। आपदामपहर्तारं दातारं सर्वसम्पदां लोकाभिरामं श्रीरामं भूयो भूयो नमाम्यहम्। दक्षिणे लक्ष्मणो यस्य वामे च जनकात्मजा पुरतो मारुतिर्यस्य तं वन्दे रघुनन्दनम्। So welcome back for another session. Hopefully today we will complete Ayodhya Kanda. Let's see how it goes. Where we left off is Bharata received Sri Ramachandra's Padukas, very reverentially received them, and then we heard a little bit about Vedanta Desika and his glorification of the Padukas. We heard a few verses, the meanings of few verses from Paduka Sahasram, 1008 verses composed spontaneously at 2 a.m. as part of a debate, or when he was challenged to come up with something. And obviously, going through every one of the verses in this forum is not possible, but something as a meditation of the Supreme Lord's shoes is fascinating. And I think on our forum, Varshana Mataji shared some meaning or English translation and meanings as well. So if that inspires you, go right ahead and dwell and become absorbed in the glories of the shoes or padukas of the Lord. So we are going to start with chapter 113 of Ayodhya Kanda. It has 119 chapters, so I'm going to go through and cover all of them today. So the chapter begins with Bharata carrying the shoes on his head and ascending on his chariot. Tataha Sirashi Kritva tu Paduke Bharatah Tada. Shirasi Kritva means by placing them on his head, Paduke, the shoes. Then Bharata Aruroha Ratam Harashtaha Shatrughnena Samanvitaha. Aruroha means he ascended Ratham. And in what state of consciousness was he in? Since he was going back to Ayodhya without Ramachandra, his appeal and begging and plea was not successful. Yet, Valmiki Rishi gives us insight into his consciousness. He says, Hrashta. Hrashta means delighted or happy. And the question is, why is he happy? Because he has padukas on his head. Shatrughnena Samanvita. Along with Shatrughna, in a very, very delighted way, he ascended the chariot. Now, according to Vedanta Desika, the reason for this delight is one might consider that hey, Ramachandra did not come back to Ayodhya. He only got the shoes. So why is he so delighted? He should be morose. So Vedanta Desika in one of the verses of Paduka Sahasram glorifies that actually the shoes of the Lord are more valuable, twice as valuable than the Lord himself. That is the mood of a devotee. Tadiyanam samarchanam. Right? We hear from Lord Shiva, Aradhananam sarvesham, Vishnur Aradhanam param, Tasmat parataram. Higher than that, Devi, Tadiyanam samarchanam. Tadiya means those who are connected to. Actually, it means the devotees of the Lord or the paraphernalia of the Lord is considered higher or superior because the access is easier. So Vedanta Deshika says, gives the example that if anybody who is in financial distress and needs cash, then they go to a pawn shop. Of course, in India, we have a pawn shop where you get nothing but cancer, but this is talk about pawn shop, Pawn. Pawning something means you give a valuable item and you receive some cash in return. Now, what was pawned is the appeal, and what he received actually is of greater value, the padukas. So he received the shoes that actually are double in value. Of course, in a pawn shop, you don't get something that is double in value. You get something that is half in value. So in a very special way, he glorifies the shoes, and therefore Bharata is actually very delighted. And ahead of Bharata and Shatrughna were Vasishta, uh, Jabali, and other Vamadeva, etc. All of them, they were leading him. So they started eastwards through the Mandakini river, back around Chitrakuta mountain, and back towards Ayodhya. Uh, he saw Bharadwaja Rishi. He got down from his chariot, offered obeisances to Bharadwaja Rishi, took his blessings, and Bharadwaja asked him, has your purpose been accomplished? Have you met Ramachandra? And then Bharata replied that despite my begging and despite my entreaties, Ramachandra cannot be shaken from his resolve, right? Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana. So Ramachandra is showing what that means. And he says, but he said that I will fulfill the promise to my father and I will return after 14 years. Then he says even Vasishta Muni tried to uh, somehow convince him, but Ramachandra was not convinced. So then Ramachandra, uh, facing east, put his feet in the sandals or shoes and then gave them to me as a sign. Okay. And that is the sign of regality or royalty that I'm carrying on my head. So now I'm going back to Ayodhya. So Bharadwaj was very, very happy to hear that. He says, there is no surprise that in you, there is a very special quality. Okay. That wherever you pour water, water only settles downwards. That means your humility is such that even if you are placed in a very high position, you will naturally find your place somewhere below the Supreme Lord and below your worshipable master. So he says that your father, Dasharat Maharaj, has become immortal by the fact that he has sons like you. So Bharata became very, very happy, joined his palms, offered him obeisances, circumambulated Bharadwaja Muni, and started going back towards the river Yamuna, Ganga, and going back towards Ayodhya. And then he came to Shringaverapura, where he met Guha again. And from there, he started moving towards Ayodhya. So the last verse of the chapter, Bharata says to his chariot driver, Sarathe Pashya Vidhitsva Ayodhya na prakashate Nirakara Nirananda Dina Pratihatasvana. Just look at Ayodhya. It looks miserable. Vidhitsva. Vidhitsva means ruined. Dvamsa means ruination. And vidhitsta means one that is ruined. Ayodhya na prakashate. There is absolutely no lights. Ayodhya is not effulgent. No one has turned on the lights in their houses. Nirakara. Nirakara means there is no it looks vacant, it looks dead, it looks desolate. Nirananda, no one seems happy. The whole city looks morose. Dina, it is very, very much in a desolate, miserable condition. Pratihata Svana. Pratihata Swara. Swara means he spoke in a choked voice. Hata means there was an obstruction. So Pratihata Swaraha means his voice or his words were obstructed by the choking of tears. And so now Bharata, who enters Ayodhya, then realizes that he has returned, he has given the news to everyone there. And there's a whole chapter describing how horrible Ayodhya was. So I'm not going to go through all the details. You're welcome to read chapter 114 if you like. That all kinds of analogies and metaphors and similes are used to describe the pitiable, desolate, melancholy, sad, completely devastated condition of Ayodhya. So then Bharata makes a solemn vow. Okay, he has brought his mothers back to Ayodhya, all the great sages, his Kula Gurus and the ministers and advisory council, everyone has come back. And then he turns to Vasishta and he says, Nandi Gramam Gamishyami, Sarvan Amantraye Adyavaha, Tatra Dukham Idam Sarvam Sahishye Raghavam Vina. He says, I am going to Nandigram, or I will go to Nandigram. Gamishyami. I will go to Nandigram. And I am going to leave all of you right now. Sarvan Amantraye Adyavaha. I'm going to leave all of you. There, I shall endure all sorts of distress from separation from Ramachandra. Tatra dukham idam sarvam sahishye. I will tolerate Raghavam Vina, without Lord Ramachandra. He says, King Dasharatha went to heaven. My elder brother went away to the forest, and I will wait for him to come back for 14 years. I will wait. He has promised me, and I will wait. Then Vasishta, interestingly, who heard these auspicious words, he said, the words that you have spoken in devotion to your brother Sri Ramachandra are very, very appreciated. In fact, only you can speak something like this. Sadrusham Shlaghaniyam Chayad Uktam Bharatatvaya. Sadrusham means today. Just see Sadrusham. We say Idrisham, right? Very much. Sadrusham means very much, or just see how intense they are. Shlaghaniyam, very filled with love and affection. Yad Uktam Bharatatvaya, what you have spoken, Vachanam Bhratru Vatsalyad. The words that have come from affection for your brother, Anurupam Tava Evatat. They are suited only for you. None of us can speak like that. and it won't suit us because it is not our nature of the heart. We don't feel the kind of separation you feel from Ramachandra. He says, who can say no to something like this? You're always very affectionate to your brothers. So then Bharata said, let my chariot be made ready. He got on his chariot along with Shatrughna. Always Bharata Shatrughna are together. And then, so just as Bharata took a vow, here's the greatness of Shatrughna. All the vows are taken by Bharata. And all those vows are followed by Shatrughna also. Shatrughna never made any of these vows explicitly, but implicitly, his devotion to Bharata is such that Bharata's vow is his vow. So they're always together. And then the Bharata went to Nandigrama. There in Nandigrama, he told everyone, my brother has given this kingdom to me under trust. I treat it like a trust. So when a person writes a will and they create a trust, it means that someone else is going to safeguard the property on behalf of someone else. So Bharata never thought of himself as the king. He only thought himself as an entrustee. And he said that the real king or queen, however you want to say it, is the pair of padukas. And he says these padukas are going to rule the kingdom. These padukas are going to give all the citizens of Ayodhya, including me, our true yoga kshema. Because we all, Krishna says, right? Ananyas chintayanto mam ye janaha paryupasate tesha nityabhiyuktanam yoga kshemam vahamyaham. I carry their yoga kshema to them. So here, the yoga kshema, everything that one needs, and protection of everything that one has, preservation, is going to come from the shoes. Etad rajyam mama bhrata dattam samanyavasavat swayam. Samanya asavat. So this kingdom, etad rajyam mama bhrata, my brother has given, dattam. And yoga kshema vahecha, yoga kshema vahe, again, same phrases. Everyone's yoga kshema will be carried by ime paduke hema bhushite, these gold adorned shoes, or the shoes that are made and decorated with gold or that are shining with gold are going to carry everyone's yoga kshema. And he says, he told the entire ministers, all of his ministers, Chhatram, Dharayat, Kshipram, everyone immediately hold the canopy or the umbrella, the white umbrella that should be on the head of a king, over the head of a king, should be held over these shoes. And he says, these symbols of my brother's feet, by the presence of these symbols, the entire kingdom has been blessed with auspiciousness and piety. Ubhayam rajye sthite dharmaha padukyabhyam guror mamaha. Gurur is my, Ramachandra is my spiritual master. Okay. Okay. Then he says, then there is compassion. My brother's compassion on me is that he has given me, he has placed his trust in me. Bhrata hi mai samanyaso nikshiptaha sauhridadiyam. Okay. Tamam imam palayishyami raghava gamanam prati. The trust that he has entrusted in me means that he has told me that I should be compassionate, gentle, loving, and caring to all the members of Ayodhya, just as he would. And as soon as Ramachandra returns, I will offer these shoes back at his feet. I will hold Ramachandra's feet very, very tightly. I will return the kingdom back to my elder brother, and I will sit on the floor, assuming the role of a servant back again, because that is my position. And when I give these shoes back, give the kingdom back to Ramachandra, all my sins will be washed away. Now one may wonder, what is Bharata's sin? This is a prayer of Dainyam. Okay. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur sings, Gopinath Mama Nivedana Suno. Please listen to me. And then he goes through a whole list of all the bad qualities he has. The sin that actually I am ruling the kingdom. I'm thinking that I'm ruling the kingdom. And whatever happens in the kingdom, then the king gets 1/6 of the sins. So he's saying, I will be washed of all my sins. So then Bharata placed the shoes on the throne. A nice umbrella was on top of the shoes. The shoes, he performed Abhishek, placed flowers, placed sandalwood, and he sat on the floor with the same tree bark clothes that Ramachandra was wearing, put this sap from the banyan tree into his hair, tied it into a matted lock, and started administering the kingdom from there. And so he stayed there for the entire period. He said, I will eat the same thing that my brother eats, fruits and roots. Okay. So there ends that chapter. Now, meanwhile, the Valmiki Muni takes us to what is happening in Chitrakuta. Once Bharata returned, Ramachandra, who was dwelling in the forest along with all the thousands of sages, he realized that there was some sense of anxiety in the minds of the sages. Why? Because Ramachandra is an expert at reading faces, the eyebrows, the eyes, whether the pupils are becoming dilated, the forehead, every little movement, there is a meaning. There we say body language. So Ramachandra is an expert at reading body language. It's called Inkita Jnanam. So he saw that there was something. So all the sages had gathered, and while they were being anxious, the sages were whispering to each other something, as if they are narrating some secretive mantras to each other. So when Ramachandra perceived that there is some distress among the sages, he asked one of the sages who was their head, and he said to them, "Oh, dear sage, I see that somewhere perhaps my conduct is not proper, that I notice anxiety in the sages. Have I done something wrong? Have I done something by which the sages are feeling agitated? Or has my brother Lakshmana inadvertently said something that he should not have said, or done something he should not have done? Or I hope Sita, who is very keen on serving you, as keen as serving you as she is to serving me, I hope that she has not uh, behaved improperly with you according to the conduct that is suitable for a woman. Has she done something wrong?" So the most oldest or the most grown up sage, the senior most, who was elder both by age and by tapasya, who was trembling because of his age, spoke to Ramachandra, the most compassionate living entity in all of existence. He said, "No, no, no. There is no need for any anxiety from Sita. There is no anxiety at all because she is the emblem of virtue. She's the emblem of best behavior. Nor has Lakshmana said anything, Garuda, nor have you. But our concern is from the demons, who I think have some enmity with you, Ramachandra, because these demons have begun to oppress us like anything. And the sages are concerned. They're concerned because they are meant to be fixed in their service, their devotional service of performing yajnas and following the methods that are given in the Vedas are being disturbed. And they're disturbed because there is one fellow who's the leader of all of these demons. His name is Khara. And these demons under Khara are harassing us. And Khara is under Ravana's rule. And what these demons do is they're very, very haughty, sinful, and they dwell in this Janasthan area. And they're unable to fathom or they're unable to bear the fact that you are here. Okay. So from the time that you have come to stay with us, Ramachandra, these demons have started harassing us quite a bit. They show up in this very grotesque and fearful forms. They make loud, thundering noises. They laugh in a way that our blood curdles. Okay. And they have very, very unnatural behavior. They fling filthy things at us, like meat, flesh, blood. They throw inauspicious objects, and then wicked demons stand in front of the sages and they threaten to kill them and eat them up. Okay. Even if the sages somehow manage to not get distracted by them, when they are performing their yajna and pouring ghee into the fire, saying swaha, these demons come and scatter all their sacrificial vessels and pots with water. They break them. They throw away all their paraphernalia here and there. And they make such a big mess. So the sages are discussing that they would like to move somewhere else in Dandaka forest. So they're saying, let's go to some other place because here it's becoming very, very difficult. And now, before these Rakshasas start inflicting physical harm to all the sages, we are abandoning this hermitage and we are going somewhere else. Not far from here is a place where there are ample fruits and nice grasses that are important for our yajna. So we would like to go there. And oh, Ramachandra, my dear darling, be very careful of Khara. Okay, because Khara is a very, very dangerous fellow. If you feel so, please come with us. Okay, you, your wife, and brother are also in danger. Of course, you're very competent. You're standing here with a bow and arrow, but still, for your own safety, if you'd like to come, please come. So Ramachandra could not stop the sage's resolve to leave. So he just stood there and bid them farewell. And they also gave their best wishes to Ramachandra and left. So this way, Ramachandra, Lakshmana, and Sita continued staying in that place. The reason they did not leave, so one may ask, hey, Ramachandra could have left. And he told the sages, you be here. Why are you leaving? But Ramachandra has come to the forest to protect the sages. If he leaves, then the sages will be harassed by Khara. So it is better that they leave and Ramachandra stays so that he can face off with Khara in the future. Okay. So now all of the sages did not go away. Some of them who were very attracted to Ramachandra continued to stay with him. They followed wherever Ramachandra, Lakshmana, and Sita went. Okay. Then Ramachandra sat in Chitrakuta area, reflected, And it's Valmiki says for many reasons he decided that he should also go away from Chitrakuta area. He says Raghava tu apayateshu. Apayateshu means after seeing that the sages had left, tapasvishu vichintayan, he sat in contemplation. Na tatra arochayad vasam karanair bahubir tada. Karanair bahubir. Many reasons Ramachandra could come up with why he should not continue residing there. So then he says one of the reasons he didn't want to stay in that area, he says, this is where Bharata came with my mother and all the inhabitants of the city. That memory haunts me very much, and I lament for them daily. The sense of separation from Bharata, Kausalya, and other residents is too intense for me. So I want to physically take myself away from this place. Second reason, when Bharata came with the entire army, horses, elephants, all these animals came, and they have dropped a whole bunch of dung in this place. So it is full of dry dung here, and it has sort of spoiled the beauty of the place. So maybe we should go somewhere else. And so from Chitrakuta, they went further southwest and reached the ashram of sage Atri and Anasuya. Now, any one of us who went to Chitrakuta can remember the most exquisite, beautiful, beautiful place of Atri and Anasuya. That such a place exists even in Kali Yuga now is unbelievable. It has remained, in one sense, pristine, with a thicket of dark green shrubs, big trees, and the thicket or the forest is so dense that it is dark inside. And the Mandakini river flows in very, very small, sweet cascades, and very sweet place. And in fact, when we went there, we were not ready to leave that ashram. So Ramachandra reached there, offered his obeisances to sage Atri, and Atri also received Ramachandra like he would receive his own son with great love and affection. And he personally served them. Swayam Atithyam Adishya. Atithyam means hospitality. Sarvam Asya Susutkrutam. Susutkrutam means he did it exquisitely with full honors. Saumitrim cha Mahabhagam Sitam cha Samasyanvataha. So he honored not just Ramachandra, but equally Lakshmana and Sita. And who was Atri, who was very, very famous as a great ascetic. He invited his wife, Patnim Chatam Anupraptam Vruddham Amantrya Satkritam Santavyam Asa Dharmagya Sarva Bhuta Hiterata. He called his wife, who was very, very aged. Huh? She was aged not only physically, but also by thousands of years of tapasya. And he very gently told her, uh, Anasuya, please welcome Janaki or Vaidehi. She is the daughter of the king of Videha. Pratigrunhishva Vaidehim Abravit Rishi Sattamaha. Pratigrunhishva means hold her or embrace her and receive her very nicely. And then he tells Ramachandra, or he introduces his wife to Ramachandra. And these verses that I'm going to recite show Atri Rishi's respect for his wife. He just didn't say, this is my wife. She too is very accomplished in tapasya. So he glorifies her or introduces her very amazingly. He says, Dasavarshan anavrishya dagdhe loke nirantaram yaya mula phale srushte jannavi cha parivartita. This Anasuya, my wife, when the earth was uh, under a very, very severe drought and famine for 10 years. Dashavarsham anavrishta. Anavrishta means there was no rain. Vrishti is rain. Anavrishta is no rain. Ativrishta is too much rain when you have flooding. So when there was a famine because of no rain, Dagdhe Loke Nirantaram, this whole world non-stop was under severe distress for 10 years. Then by her yogic power, Yaya Mula Phale Srishte, by her yogic power, she was able to generate on trees fruits and roots. And Jannavi cha Parivartita, by her yogic power, she invited the Ganges river to this place. So that is the Mandakini river. So this is the prowess of Anusuya. Then next verse, Ugrena tapasa yukta niyamaihi cha apya alamkritaha dasa varsha sahasrani yaya taptam mahattapaha. She can take on and has taken on very, very intense tapasya. Ugrena tapasa yukta. And for how long? Dasha Varsha Sahasrani. 10,000 years. She has endured the austerity of taking on very, very intense tapasya. Then Anusuya Vrataihi Tataha, Tata means, oh darling Ramachandra, Tataha Pratyuha cha Nibarhita, Deva Karya Nimittam cha Yaya Sat Samvarmanaya, that she was able to detect what is pleasing to the demigods, Deva Karya, or what is pleasing to the Supreme Lord. Either way is fine. And Deva Karya Nimittam, she understands what it means to be an instrument in the divine will of the Lord. And the example is Dasharatram Kritva Ratrihi Sa Iyam Mata Ivate Anagha. O Ramachandra, who's free of any sin, Dasharatram Kritva Ratri. She converted 10 nights into one night. Sa Iyam Mata Ivate Anaga. That she should be treated like your own mother, Ramachandra. So, what is the story of 10 nights that were reduced into one night? So, here's the background story. There was a person who at one time was a great Brahmana, and by some stroke of karma, that Brahmana contracted leprosy. And by his leprosy, his fingers, his toes, everything melted away, and they were constantly bleeding of pus and blood. And his nose, his whole face got disfigured and became very unbearable to see, what to speak of the smell and the just the degraded condition that he was in. But his wife Sumati never gave up on him. So Sumati is considered an excellent pativrata. In fact, her name goes down in history in all the Puranas. Sumati's glory as being a chaste, dedicated wife for a husband who's completely incapable, but also in a condition that is very decaying. She continued serving him without any problems. In fact, wherever she needed to go, obviously he could not walk, she would carry him on her head in a basket. sometimes just carry him on her shoulders. That is how she served her husband. So one day, as she was crossing this Chitrakoot, this area, it was dark, and this husband, interestingly enough, because the body may degrade, but somehow certain desires don't die, even when the body is decaying, had a desire to spend a night with a prostitute. And interestingly, he told this desire to his wife. And the most shocking part is that the wife agreed to fulfill the desire for him. Now, this cannot be copied at home, obviously, but it shows the extent of her love, sacrifice, and service to her husband. So she was carrying the husband towards the prostitute's house. It was dark and there was not enough light, and she was crossing this forest. And in that forest, there was a sage who was meditating. The sage's name was Mandavya. Now, when she was carrying her husband's body, Mandavya, this husband's foot touched Mandavya on their way because it was dark. So Mandavya Rishi became upset that his meditation was disturbed, and that too by this person's foot. So now he has to stop, get up, take a bath, start again, whatever his thing was. And so he became upset. And one of the things for sages is when their meditation gets upset is they become angry. And he cursed this man. He cursed that you will not see sunrise. You will die immediately. Not immediately. You will die before you will die. You will not see sunrise. That's the actual phrase. You will not see sunrise. That means you have this one night to live. So Sumati, out of her chastity, prayed to Suryadev, and she said that if I have been chaste to my husband without even a moment's worth of deviation or even a slight degradation in my service to him, then with my chastity, I say that the sun will not rise tomorrow morning. Now, interestingly, the power of her chastity was such that for almost 10 days or 10 nights, the sun never rose. Now, the chariot on which Suryadev travels is very, very fast and there's no stopping, but it got stopped. And when the sun doesn't rise, no dharmic activity can happen. The Brahmanas cannot offer oblations. The demigods don't get their shares. The living entities on earth, the Brahmanas and others cannot uh, elevate themselves through piety. The demigods cannot give what they're meant to give. The living beings cannot survive without sunlight. We're all surviving because of the sun, right? Krishna says, I nourish all living beings through the sun and the moon. Prabha asmi sashi suryoho. I am the light that energizes and sustains everyone. Therefore, in the Gayatri Mantra, we pray to that effulgence of the Lord. Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargaha Devaha. Bharga is the effulgent Lord, Bhargaha Devaha, who resides in Savita, the sun planet. So the demigods became very agitated. All the living beings started struggling. So they went to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma said the only person who can counteract such situation is Anasuya Devi, the wife of Atri Rishi. So they went and requested Anasuya, can you please do something? So Anasuya spoke to Sumati and she said, listen, you're very fortunate. Your husband was not cursed to die immediately. He was cursed that he will not see sunrise. But by your Shakti, you have stopped the sun from moving, and that is not good for all the living entities. So on the basis of my devotional and pious credits, here is a promise that I make you. You let the sun pass. Let him rise and take care of all the living beings. As far as your husband, even if he does not, the Brahmana's word cannot be violated. So he may lose this body, but by my yogic power, I bless you that he will come back in a young, strong, youthful body and live a very long life with you. So Sumati acquiesced. The sun started rising. All the living entities were survived. Her husband died and came back in a fantastic body. So this is Devakarya Nimittam Cha. She knows how to be an instrument, how to make things work in a way that the divine will work, plus others are also benefited. So very, very amazing personality. So Anusuya takes Sita Devi and Anusuya speaks the duties of a wife to Sita Devi. I mean, there are some very amazing shlokas. Let me see if I have a couple of minutes and I'll quickly say one or two, but there are more. Now, this is from, not me speaking, this is from one of the greatest women on the planet or in the universe to the supreme personality, Sita Devi. Okay. Of course, it's not considered instruction, but in this Leela, it is like instructing, and then Sita Devi responds back. And she says, Sita, you have shown the greatest chastity by even leaving behind your relatives and friends, honor, prosperity, kingdom, wealth, everything, and followed Sri Ramachandra. So the higher worlds wait eagerly for such women to come and live on their planets, for whom their husbands are dearer than anyone else, whether he lives in a city, meaning in opulence, or he lives in a forest without anything, whether he's sinful or whether he's full of great qualities. She says the husband is considered to be greater than anyone else. However, is his behavior. That is not her concern. Of course, like I said, very difficult to copy at home. Uh, a wife is one who considers her husband the best friend that she has. And he, in turn, takes care of her under all circumstances. Just the way one carefully protects and takes care of the fruit of their piety. If you've received something out of a fruit of your piety, you tend to preserve it very carefully. And she says, some women are evil whose hearts only follow their own passions, and they conduct themselves by dominating their husband. This is Anusuya's words, not mine. So please don't get upset with me. And those who ill-treat their husbands by dominating them, she says they never are uplifted. So, having said all of this, Sita Devi then offers her obeisances, circumambulates her, and she tells her, my mother taught me these wonderful principles already. And they were strengthened by Kausalya Devi when I was leaving for the forest. And now you've also said things that have made it like completely solid in my heart. So I accept your words with full regard and respect. Thank you. Then Anusuya asks, I heard, because I live here, I heard that Ramachandra came to Mithila to marry you. Can you narrate to me how your marriage happened? So Sita Devi narrates that my father, who was performing this yagya, was plowing the field making it ready for the yajna, and he found me uh, he found me appearing from the earth, and the voice in the sky said, "Yes, she is your daughter. Take care of her like a daughter." He was very attached to me. And then he realized that when the time came for me to be married, there wasn't a suitable man anywhere who could marry me. And he wanted someone, so he had this competition that someone should string the bow of Lord Shiva that came to us through Varuna and great demigods through our lineage. Then Ramachandra came there with Vishwamitra, and he came to see the bow and very effortlessly picked it up, strung it, pulled it completely, and broke it. But there's an interesting point. When my father became very happy and as part of this Swayamvara wanted me to marry Ramachandra, Ramachandra did not say yes. He said, "My father Dasharatha has to agree." And so immediately the word was sent to Dasharatha. Of course, Dasharatha Maharaj was very happy and he came, and then my marriage was conducted. So Anusuya said, "Oh, I'm very happy to hear. This is how I had also heard your story, but I'm very happy to hear from you again. Thank you for sharing this with me." Then all of them, the three of them, circumambulate this wonderful couple uh, and offer them respects. Anusuya kisses Sita Devi's forehead, and Ramachandra, Lakshmana, and Sita then take leave from them uh, and move further into the forest. And with that, chapter 119 ends. And we have ended Ayodhya Kanda. Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai.
Jai.
Let's see if you have any questions, comments, thoughts.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. This is Atulya Devidasi.
Hare Krishna.
Beautiful narration, and I think great to see that you have accomplished one kanda.
Two kandas.
Two kandas. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Prabhu, my
So
question
the
is.
first Balakanda had 77 chapters. This has 119 chapters. So that's how far we have gotten. Okay, go ahead, Atulya.
You were initially mentioning about Lord Rama asking the sages when they appeared to be not so comfortable or happy, that if he has done anything, or if any of like Lakshmana or Mother Sita has done something. So I feel it's so pleasing and so touching to the heart. And when I think of learning from it and trying to use it in my life, I feel little threatened as well from the fact that if I try to even in consciousness think about it, other people are ready to take advantage of it. They really want, or many of materialistic people, or in general people, they just want to throw the blame on another person. And so I think the question I want to ask is that how do we use this principle both when others are basically not be in a defensive mode with others, and when others are in defensive mode with us, then how do we apply this? How do we keep this principle central to the interactions?
What others are thinking and doing is none of our business, because we cannot influence anyone else, and we have no ability to make others speak or do in any way. We are only in control of how we speak and think. Now, Ramachandra is not, of course, he's talking to Brahmanas, they will not lie. But even if they did, it's irrelevant to him. He's just asking because he thinks of himself as their servant. This is the thing. When we say servant, that means the servant thinks about the pleasure of the master and he's asking, am I any cause? Have I done something by which you are disturbed? Because he so notices all of them whispering to each other and they're concerned about something. So he's being very vulnerable, and that takes courage.
So you're saying, yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
So sometimes in bhakti practice, we ask, have I done something? Have I done something? Not necessarily from being vulnerable position, but maybe mixed with, I don't want to be known as a bad person, or I get mental if I've done something and I become very punishing of myself, or others will think of me in a bad way. So there's a lot mixed in a person asking, is it me? Have I done something? In some cases, it's also mixed with genuinely, have I done something that I can repair? So we take that it's mixed for most of us as sadhakas. Here, Ramachandra is asking genuinely from a position of being a servant to them, that is it anything that I have done or my brother or wife? Because we have come to live here and my job is to serve you. Take your association. So, sorry, Atulya, I cut you off.
No, Prabhu, I think I cut you off. So the context, is this the context, as you're saying, for relationship of a servant asking, or apparently servant, Lord Ramachandra's role as a servant, asking the one whom serving, or do you think it's applicable across all relationships?
It's applicable across all relationships, not from a position of necessarily being mental, but genuinely. Is there something I have said or done that has caused you this distress? Please let me know.
And suppose the answer is yes, there is something that I may have done. So what is the internal processing to gracefully accept it and absorb it and also not beat oneself? So what do we do with that information?
Well, what is beating oneself ever gotten one in life? Nothing. And if the relationship is genuine, meaningful, valuable, and it's genuine feedback, you take it and say, oh, I am so sorry. Maybe I meant it this way, but this is how it got interpreted, or this is how it came to you. I'm sorry. It's good feedback. Thank you. However is one takes it for one's own improvement. Or at least, okay, this is what I had meant to say, or this is what was my intention. And then two people can see it and say, oh, okay, I thought that way, you thought that way, but hey. But at least we understand what the other person's sensitivity is, which is great. And they understand what our sensitivity is, and that's also great. It's a matter of knowing each other. It's part of the Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati process, if devotionally we're speaking, where one is meant to reveal one's heart in confidence and hear from the other. So Guhyam Akhyati Prichhati in a relationship that is not among equals is revealing heart in confidence and seeking guidance and instruction. In relationships that are on equal level as friends, then it is about sharing what's inside. It's inviting them to look here and we getting a chance to look there.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very nice context, and at least the story will remind me of this beautiful way of speaking. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Um, at the risk of not getting prasadam for the next week, I really like this class.
You liked Anasuya's instructions to Sita Devi, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But here's a question.
Muni glorification of Anasuya.
What's that?
Atri Muni glorified Anasuya. That was really nice, wasn't it, Prabhu?
Anyway, let's not make this a domestic battle. But the question is, so in her instruction, she said, or as a Purana say, you know, wives who serve their husbands, regardless of how he speaks, regardless of his position, sinful or not, they're considered glorified.
Yes.
In fact, the degree to which they can do that becomes even more laudable. At the same time, in the Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 11th chapter, text 28, specifically says that one who's a chaste woman, if the husband is not fallen, then serve him with affection. But if a husband is sinful, then one should not associate with such a husband.
Right.
So how to, what is the reconciliation between the two?
I haven't given it much thought, but my spontaneous answer is we are told not to play with fire. For example, when a building is on fire, ordinary people cannot run in and save others. But we are also taught how to handle fire at home, cooking, or at the temple, let's say, or a bigger fire. So everyone in general is guided that you're playing with fire, be careful. And then there is the fire that most people cannot handle. So that 11th chapter, I think, is instruction for general persons. In my sense is not everyone can play with fire to that degree. It's very risky to continue serving a person. And she's speaking her realizations, right, Anasuya, that this way or that way, however is the husband, she is dedicated to her service. And she is the one who then even the demigods are saying, hey, can you come stay on our planet? They want the association and the basking in the piety of such a person. So it means it's very uncommon. And it is not easy. That is how I'm seeing it right now. But I'd like to give it more thought.
All right. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
This is Varsana Devidasi.
Hare Krishna, Varsana.
The question I have is when Sumati, she served her husband, and specifically when he asked to go to the prostitute's home, and she was making arrangements for it. She is glorified as being chaste, whereas, like, when a man, the husband, is attached to the wife, and he's often called as henpecked. So where is this line between the chastity and being
I didn't realize that a husband who's attached to his wife is called henpecked. I thought a wife the husband who's dominated by his wife is called henpecked.
I see. So, okay.
Henpecked is when the guy has absolutely no freedom. I'll find that joke. Recently, I saw a cartoon where the husband is at a psychologist's office, a shrink, and the wife is also sitting there. And the psychologist is asking the husband, so do you argue with your wife or something? And she answers, no, he doesn't. It's like that. The guy has no freedom to say anything, think and do anything. Literally, he's a robot. She tells him what to do. I'm not sure such husbands are attached to their wives. They may somehow just tolerate it for the peace of the household, but I'm not sure they're necessarily attached. Attachment comes from voluntarily, there is affection between the two. Of course, we
So
jokingly
does
say
it,
a person.
I guess, like, I'm wondering, one of the things that I was having a discussion with another set of devotees was that, in this context of man and woman thing, the man provides physical protection for his wife, and the woman gives him the spiritual protection in one way or the other. I mean, there's many nuances to it, but in this situation, I'm wondering, how was she being an accomplice to his performing or wanting to perform an immoral?
How is it immoral? There were Vaishyas, even that, yeah, they were Vaishyas, not Vaishyas, Vaishyas during that Vedic time too. Even when Krishna enters Dwaraka, he says,
Brahmanas can do this? Like, I mean,
I mean,
I know
he's,
that.
oh yeah, why not?
Uh-huh.
Why not? There were. Now, what is the parameter under which a Brahmana will visit a prostitute and all that? I'm not so familiar with it.
Okay.
So I can't answer that. But there were. When Krishna entered Dwaraka, it said the prostitutes came forward and they were dancing and receiving. So in Krishna's presence, there are all these prostitutes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Well, I haven't finished with Varshana Mataji's question. So now, in terms of physical protection, sure, but Kaikeyi protected Dasharat Maharaj. That is why he's so affectionate to her. She saved his life. And there is a verse in Ramayana, or a set of verses, and I will find for you if I get a chance, where it is said that a wife plays 8 or 9 roles. She's like a friend, she's like a mother. Of course, she plays the role of a wife. She is an advisor, etc., etc. There's all the roles she plays. But that is what it means to be a couple, where primarily they're assisting each other in their elevation towards the purpose of human life. The way they do it and the roles they play may look a little different, but the intention and the purpose is very, very similar, perhaps the same. Is that okay, Varshana Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, sorry, someone else was speaking. Hare Krishna, I cannot hear your voice so well.
Is this better, Prabhu?
Yes, Kirti.
Okay. A comment and a question. Comment is, I was thinking when I picturized Mother Anasuya, I was under the impression that her husband would do all the austerities and she would just take care of her husband. She per se had no role to play in the austerities, in her personal austerities. I don't know if I'm clear with that, but just like Kardama Muni was doing austerities, whereas his good wife was just serving him. She did not indulge in austerities to the extent that Kardama Muni did. Here it looks like Mother Anasuya had her own austerities going on.
In Kardama Muni and Devahuti, we may not hear about it, but the verse says that Devahuti became emaciated, very thin and skinny. So she was also being austere, maybe in a different way, but she was being very, very austere herself. Now, it doesn't give specifics of what she did, but at least here Atri Muni is saying Dasha Varsha Sahasrani Ugrena Tapasa.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you. The question is, did Mother Anasuya give Mother Sita anything other than good advice, like a gift?
Yes, thank you. I forgot to mention. She gave some gifts. She gave her certain jewelry. She gave her a garland and some clothing. It's actually the same sari that she was wearing when Ravana kidnapped her. Because something about that sari and that jewelry is it will protect her and will always keep her pure. So the garland is also one of those. So that is the gift given by Anasuya. There's a set of things. She gave a garland, she gave jewelry, she gave sari or clothing, and she gave her perfumes and certain body lotion that would keep her skin and body very strong, regardless of what difficult circumstances the body has to go through, either cold or hot, heat, or no food, or whatever circumstances. Thank you. I forgot to mention that.
Did another question, Prabhu? Did Mother Sita give any gift? Prabhu?
I cannot hear you, Kirti.
Did Mother Sita give any gift to Anasuya?
No.
Okay.
Prabhuji, Mother Anasuya didn't have to cook or do any kitchen work. So she was busy with the austerity. Right? They didn't have any need for it.
We don't get entry into their kitchen and how it was done. I'm assuming they survived on fruits and roots. Because she said, "Come on, Prabhu, I also have meditation to do."
I mean, Mother Sita also didn't have to cook. Lakshmana was cooking for her. So
Yeah. And every
just
time she's like, "Can you not see? I have also my rounds left."
my Prabhu was saying that.
Yeah. Can you just eat fruits today?
Thank you. Just an observation. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing observation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
So in the whole story, that's where the observation goes. That's amazing.
You really got us started on something today, Prabhu.
Yeah, Yamuna Jivana. Not me. Oh, let's blame Anusuya Devi.
The instrument. We'll blame the instrument.
Yeah, Deva Nimitta. Deva Karya Nimitta.
Prabhu, couple of questions. One,
I serve my husband nicely.
one, I was a little confused by the sages, that left. So Lord Ram is there, and these sages wanting protection from the demons chose to leave. It's very bewildering. Is there any explanation?
Yeah, they're seeking protection of their bhakti, their service. They're not physically challenged or afraid. One of the things is abhayam, but their devotional service is being disturbed. These Rakshasas are throwing meat at them, kicking their pots, breaking their water pots. When they're offering ghee into the fire, they're pouring all unmentionables into the fire and extinguishing the fire. So their service is being disturbed.
Specifically, they said that because Lord Ram is present there, these sages these demons.
Khara, yeah, because the Kshatriyas, Ramachandra has entered the forest, and so the demons, Khara, they're all challenging. It's like taunting or provoking. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. So when the Brahmanas are under distress or duress, or the cows, then the Lord responds or does something.
And we hear that, how can there be any inauspiciousness in the presence of the Supreme Lord?
No, in the presence of the Supreme Lord, both Rakshasas and the Brahmanas both have a place to stay, no? As long as they don't get into, the Rakshasas don't disturb, the Rakshasas also have a place to stay. The entire world is the presence of the super soul is there, and people have the freedom to act either within the boundaries of Dharma or outside the boundaries of Dharma, and he has to correct it. He has to be the regulating factor.
And some of these sages chose that, even though the Supreme Lord is present, in order to execute their bhakti without disturbance, to go away from the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, that's fine. That is totally okay, because that is their method. In third canto, Kardama Muni is offering prayers. The Supreme Lord appears in front of him.
Yeah.
He makes his request, can I have a son? Can you appear as my son? Or whatever request he makes. Then he gets up and goes into the forest or wherever to continue his meditation. When the Lord is, he didn't leave the Lord and go away, but that is what he's going back to. Just because they saw the Lord or they're with him does not mean that they stop their practices.
Okay. And then we've been reading this same section that you just mentioned from the third canto. And when Lord Brahma comes to visit Kapila and Devahuti, he brings his sons along. And one of his sons is Atri Muni, who gets married to the daughter of Kardama and Devahuti, who is Anasuya.
Right.
And so Anasuya essentially gets married to her uncle, Atri Muni. And I was asked when we were discussing this with the children that, so it seems like at some point it was okay, this practice was okay, and then, currently.
So in the olden Vedic system is sometimes prevalent even now, not so much, but somewhere the vestiges of it is there, that the girl and the boy's gotra have to be different. Then it's okay. So generally you would say that if they were brother and sister, their children would marry each other. It's there in the case of Krishna's lineage as well. The son of the sister and the daughter of the brother, they would get married. Sometimes the girl would be married to her mama. In some cases, it's there. It was, I should say, not is. It was an acceptable arrangement, I guess. There is one more in the Bhagavatam, it's described, where Swayambhuva Manu asks his son that your firstborn should be given to me, and that is Yagya. And the other girl who's born is Dakshina. Then Yagya and Dakshina get married because technically he is now Swayambhuva Manu's son. Because he's the expansion of the Supreme Lord. For Yagya, Yagya and Dakshina always go together.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. So I also like the classes very much today, following suit with Yamuna Jivan Prabhu.
Yeah. Everyone likes when the lessons are for the wise.
The interesting part is like we have a devotee, Anasuya, listening to this class, and she's my mother-in-law. So I will have a offline conversation to re-emphasize the instruction. Just a comment.
You're you're dealing with fire here. Be careful.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
The name of your wife only has fire in it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Can you hear
Hare
me?
Krishna. Oh, yes, I can.
Prabhu, if time permits, just a quick question I have. Like Bharat Maharaj is his quality of gratitude, or I mean, I may say love for Lord Ram is very, very endearing. So I was just wondering that was his love was because he was his older brother, or there was a natural gratitude in his heart, or he remembered his constitutional position with related to Lord Ram. What is the reason for his being so grateful and so soft-hearted to Lord Ram?
All of the above, plus Ramachandra is such a personality that he draws such love and affection from everyone's heart. So, like the residents of Vrindavan, they never even knew or cared whether Krishna is the supreme or not. In fact, there's a lecture I heard recently where Prabhupada was saying the difference is most people want to serve Krishna because they know he is God. And part of that knowing he is God is, oh, I can ask him for protection. I can ask him for this. I can ask him for that, the yoga kshema things. And the residents of Vrindavan are considered great because they didn't care. They didn't even know. They loved Krishna because Krishna was lovable, and that's about it. It was not about Krishna is going to protect me, he's going to give me this, he's going to give me that, fulfill this desire, fulfill that desire. Jai Jagdish Hare, Sukha Sampati Ghar Aave, Kashta Mite Tanka. Nothing like that.
Yes, so it is about Lord Ram that he has that attraction in him.
He is about Lord Ram. Dharmically, the position of the older brother is like the father. Father is worshipable like the supreme personality. I mean, so even from the dharmic side, he always considered himself as the younger brother, not superior to his older brother. Lord Ramachandra is such a personality that how can one not serve him? Just so lovable. So the love that they exchanged between both was very intense. And that was the reason. Just nothing else. It was not a intellectualized that, I should be nice to him because he's my older brother.
Okay, Prabhu. So just application point, I was thinking that even in our this retreat also, I had asked this question, but just want to listen. These qualities are really very natural. I feel how do we develop them? Like gratitude, like you said, that Ramachandra is so attractive. But I mean, I feel attraction for hearing the katha and everything. But more and more, we are aspiring for more. So how can we cultivate that gratitude, particularly?
So Rupa Goswami, who's the Abhideya Acharya, has given us the method that from practice develops spontaneity. That the natural gratitude, the natural inclination, natural attraction comes from practicing it within the boundaries of the structure or framework given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. So from practice comes spontaneity. So we have to remind ourselves, oh, I have to express my gratitude. I have to remind myself to write something great of gratitude. I have to remind myself, oh, they said something, I should say something back in terms of, this is all regulated. It has to be reminded, one has to practice it. And there are some persons for whom gratitude flows a little bit more naturally because it's there. It's been developed, either in previous life or in this life, and it's there. So from practice comes spontaneity. And the part of the practice is to, the more one practices, the more spontaneous one becomes. You've seen small children or whoever, they like their bicycle or roller blades or whatever it is. And you tell them to practice for half an hour, and guess what? They will practice for hours and hours because it's fun. They're enjoying it. And part of that fun and learning to practice is that's what they want to do. And it comes naturally then. Of course, bhakti is not like rollerblading or bicycling because it's a skill that you have to learn externally, but it is something that is an inside out process.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about gratitude and all these qualities also. I was of the understanding that they are already there in your heart. How do you just uncover them? But as you are saying, that practice works there.
So we are given the example of dry wood and wet wood. Prabhupada uses this example. If you have wet wood, is there fire in wet wood? Yeah, but it's not able to come out because there's a lot of moisture. So when you dry it in the sun, then the sun evaporates the moisture in the wood, and inside the wood is then stored heat. So when you bring an external fire, that's when from inside the wood burns. So fire is already there. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunaya. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karah Udaya. Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte. Shravana Adi. Through those processes of bhakti, the heart becomes awakened. Udaya, these things become awakened in the heart. It's already there, just dormant. Prabhupada uses the word dormant.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Okay, everyone. Thank you. I have
Hare Krishna.
yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'm sorry, Prabhuji. I just want to take a minute to express my gratitude for such a beautiful ending to Ayodhya Kanda, and you've consistently helped me understand Bharata's rasa towards Ramachandra. You've been very persistent and patient with me all this time. So
you've also been persistent.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Just wanted to thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have another presentation to make in 15 minutes. So I'm going to excuse myself. We've stayed much longer than I had thought. So sorry to keep you up so late. Thank you. And when we meet next week, we will begin Aranya Kanda. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Taram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki jai ho.
Jai.
Jai ho. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu.